everyone, welcome to another Painting with Jay. As always, my name is Jay. So grab a brush, grab some models, grab some paints, and paint along with me. Let's have a good time. Let's rid the world of unpainted models. I am done with Dark Angels for a little bit, and I did my miniature, my army showcase a little bit ago, earlier in the week. And right now I'm actually going to spend the next few weeks, probably about a month or so, maybe a month and a half, working on some Retribution of Syra models for a friend. I've decided that I've been so productive this year that I am going to work on my friend's models. It is kind of a commission, but it's all good. His models are not in the best condition, so I've been just doing a squad at a time and trying to get them into battle report or decent standard. And I think he's gonna love them. So today I'm gonna work on some guys. I don't even know what they're called. Some Retribution of Syra guys. I'm just gonna paint them today and ramble about my week. It's been a fun week. Let's get painting. Yes. Hey everyone, so today I'll be working on these Retribution of Syra guys. They're fun. As I said, right now I'm going to slowly get these models painted up and looking awesome. Probably put up pictures online on my Facebook page. But right now my friend's models, they're not in a lot of good shape. Like there's a bunch of different primed colors. There's gray and black and white. Where's white? There's a white one. And one of them doesn't even have a base. He glued it to a destroyed marker. So I'll get them in good shape. And I know that they weren't properly prepared and cleaned up. So I've been having to wash them a little bit at a time to get them up to snuff. And it's okay. As I said, this is not going to be the simplest process. I'll be doing these guys over the next few weeks. I'm hoping to get this squad done. The thing is with War Machine models, is some of the models have crazy amounts of detail for the points cost that you're going to be using them for, and other ones are okay. And these ones are okay. There's not a lot of details on these guys. I'm going to be just spending the first part of the video just giving them a shade in the recesses. And yeah, we'll keep on doing that. And I'm just going to, there we go, make sure it's all good. So today I'll be just putting the shade into these guys, into the recesses, doing some post shading as I normally do. I've already hit them with a couple of colors of blue and a satin varnish to protect them because they're metal. And metal models are scratchable. So these metals were made for scratching. That's just what they'll do. So yeah, just talk about my week. It's been a good week. As I said, I got my Dark Angels all done. Or at least I finished up all the elites. And I decided that I'm going to take a break from Dark Angels, because there's not that many models that I have that I really want to paint up for Dark Angels, or in that scheme. I'm probably going to do some more Imperial Fists in the near future. And so I did an army showcase, because a lot of people ask me to do army showcases, and it's kind of fun, because Dark Angels is actually one of my smallest armies. Out of all my studio armies, I think it's now probably one of the smallest. I think Necrons might be the smallest, or Imperial Knights technically, because I only have 4 models for them, and so they're definitely the smallest. But it's cool. I have like just over 4,000 points of Dark Angels, and it's cool when you're doing an army showcase because you get to add up all the points and go, wow, I have a lot of points of guys. So that's cool. So yeah, right now I'm just going to take some shade and give them a nice, just quick post shading. Drop them a few times like I just almost did. And that'll be the video. As I said, most of the video is going to be probably me just shading them. And then I'll work on the skin of there's half the guys with helmets and half the guys with skin on their, like no helmet, right there, for example. So I've already given them the base coat of rat skin flesh. And I will just work on them if and when I finish post shading these guys. And just to reiterate what post shading means, what people typically call post shading with using a shade is that I've already hit it with an airbrush a couple times and given it a satin varnish. So I've already got a nice gradient of colors, so now I'm just applying a little bit of shade into the recesses to make them really stick out and pop. Get some tonal variation. Yeah. I'm kind of losing my voice because I still haven't gained it back. I went to a tournament on Saturday. It was a lot of fun, called Brawl in the Hall. And I put together a vlog. I don't know if I'm going to put it, if I actually edit it. I don't know if I got enough footage, to be honest. But I'll talk about my day, and maybe I'll put up a vlog about it. So it was a lot of fun. I played Imperial Knights, because I really just wanted to play Imperial Knights. And I was very transparent about playing Imperial Knights. I warned the people at the tournament that I'm going to bring Imperial Knights. And so I was a little worried that I don't want to be called a jerk or anything. I'm not a power gamer. I just really wanted to play Imperial Knights. And there are rules in this tournament set up that they were called, winning through attrition victory. And basically your opponent got a point for the see who wins, the game. Your opponent got a point for every 3 hull points they knock off a single super heavy. So bringing 4 Imperial Knights. My list was 4 Imperial Knights and a Scout squad, a Devastator squad, and a Librarian. I was given up points galore for that attrition, because anybody who could deal with them was just knocking points, and it was good. So my first game, I'll talk about. So I brought Knights, and when I got there, I wasn't that actually worried anymore that I was bringing a jerk, because there were a lot of powerless there. A lot of power. I knew what there were going to be. But there were a lot of powerless. Like every Tyranid list had 4 Hive Tyrants on wings. It was just all flying monstrous creatures, spam. There was only 1 or 2 Eldar players. But Matt had a pretty strong list. He had a Wraith Knight and stuff. Most of the lists were pretty scary. And in the end, actually, none of them won. It was kind of cool to see. I think Khorne Demonkin won the tournament, I think. And then Chaos Space Marines came in the top 3. And Scout Army came in the top 3. I did not. I actually came in 4th. I was 1 point out of 2nd. It was a tiebreaker between 2nd and 3rd, basically. And I would have come in... I was 1 point out. But I'll talk about that after. I had a good time. So first round, it was really fun because beforehand I put up my list and there were a couple of guys that were like, I'll totally play against you and we'll have fun and see if anybody can beat you and all that stuff. Just, not really smack talking or anything, just talking about lists and stuff. And one of them was named Brandon, who I thought was a local player. I guess he's not technically a local player. And the reason why I'm talking about local is the first round is designed at Brawl so that local players play non-local players. Just so that we guarantee to play at least one person that is outside of your meta. So you don't, for the people that aren't local, they don't drive for half an hour to play their friend or brother. And we don't play our friends that we always play. So it's and then after that, it's Swiss rules. Winners play winners, losers play losers, ties play ties. So, I thought Brandon was considered a local, but he wasn't considered a local, I guess. And I ended up facing Brandon. It was kind of fun. So we had a great game. In the end, it was a draw. And in the end, he drawed it because he was able to get that points through attrition in the end. He was able to get 3 hull points off the last turn off my Imperial Knight. And it tied in the game. So it was a good game, like a great game. I'd gladly play against him again. He was bringing Space Wolves. I just dropped my paintbrush. And he was playing Space Wolves. And his list was pretty scary as well. He brought 3 of those really, really nasty Venerable Dreadnoughts for Space Wolves with the Axe and Shield. So basically they have a 3-up invulnerable save from the front. And they have a Strength 10, AP 1 weapon. They have weapon skill 5, initiative 4, I'm pretty sure, something like that. So they're really, really scary guys. And they were killing my knights. It was a tough game because the thing is with the D table is unless you roll that 6, your opponent gets an invul. And if you have a 3-up invulnerable save, you'll pass most of them. So, but yeah, he was killing knights. It was just giant explosion after giant explosion. The one thing that was really fun was we actually set up a situation where he killed a knight, it exploded, and then landed on another knight and it exploded. So it was that cool chain reaction of explosions. My other knight was in combat with one of his other dreadnoughts, and it landed on them both and then we rolled a 6 on the D table. So my knight, who was about to die anyway, but it was really cool to see him explode out of this, and his dreadnought just disappeared off the table. It was really fun. So yeah, great game. Thank you very much, Brandon /Ben. I called him Ben at one point. I don't know why. I was like, I had a great game against Ben. He was like, who's Ben? So I'm like, it's him. I'm going to call him Ben from now on. So Ben/Brandon. Great game. And it was a tie. It was a good game. So I ended up with a tie. And one of the things is this tournament/event has an interesting rubric for the scoring. So basically, your opponent judges your list and your opponent, right? Like your opponent goes, okay, would I like to play against Jay again? Yes. Would I like to play against Jay's list again? Maybe no. And so I was warned ahead of time that I'm going to lose points. And that was kind of what set up a really interesting debate online, was the fact that people were saying that they were going to dock points for the people who brought knights. Like I brought a knight army, people were going to instantly hit me with all these points. And I argued that, you know what, I'm a friendly player, I don't play like a jerk, and I bet that some people are going to bring some scary lists as well. So I think I think I could play my entire list and get full points. And I did. I got full sportsmanship points for the entire tournament, despite the fact that I played knights, because it doesn't matter what list you play, it's also how you play it. You know? And if you play like a jerk, you're going to be treated like a jerk. But if you play like a good guy, or girl, obviously, good person, and you play for fun, even if you play a hard list, like, and again, it was a close game because it was a draw, obviously. So, yeah, I got full points. And I got full points for painting, of course, because my army's painted. So that was round one. And then there was this really cool guy named Bill. Bill and I also have been talking over the Facebook, you know. Like, he was one of the guys who's like, oh, I'd love to play against you too, see if how we face against the Ravenwing. So I knew someone was bringing at least Ravenwing. And so after round one, I was talking to Bill. And I said, hey, Bill, how'd you do? He said, he drew. And I drew 2. And I looked around, there were 3 different games that had draws. So I'm like, okay, so I'm playing against one of them. Because wins play wins, losers play losers, draws play draws. And in the end, round 2, I faced Bill. I was like, all right, so round 1, Brandon. Round 2, Bill. The 2 guys that I talked with online about playing. So the only one I was like, to complete the triad would be Stu in round 3. And I didn't face Stu in round 3, but it was good. But, so I faced Bill in round 2. And Bill brought Ravenwing and Deathwing. So Deathwing are, again, they can be particularly hard for knights, because if your opponent, and he had the, I believe he had the knights as well, like the Deathwing knights. But yeah, it was a good game once again, and it was a draw. Great game. I had a great time playing against Bill. We had a lot of fun, and in the end, it was a draw. And this time, it was actually I was losing by 3 points, going into top of 5. I was down by 3 points, and I scored 4 points because I got Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker, and an objective, and my objectives at the same time. It was a crazy good, strategy luck combination. And he had Samael, obviously, so catching Samael is not easy. And in the end, we drew. He got Linebreaker just to tie it up. Oh, and so it was a great game again, and it was a draw. And once again, full sportsmanship. I gave full sportsmanship, of course, to Bill. We had a great time. I'd gladly play against Bill again. And, yeah. So after 2 rounds, I had 2 draws. But I had the thing is, points-wise, I thought I still had a chance of finishing in the final top 3, maybe. Because the way that it goes is that wins versus losers versus draws, right? It's only a few points difference. I got 7 out of a possible 9 points in that one round. So it wasn't terrible, A draw wasn't the end of the world. And I got full sportsmanship and painting points. I just painted this guy. Why did I bring him back? I don't know. So that was good. And then the final round, they announce and they say Jay's facing Eldar Matt. And Matt is actually one of the guys from my local meta, and I've known him for about a year since I came here, and I've never played against him, so I was really looking forward to playing against him. And his list was scary. I mean, scary for a knight player. He was an Eldar player, and he brought he brought the formation so that his runs were always 6 inches, and for his combat focus, and he brought the D flamers and the D shots. Like, it was Wraith spam, right? Wraith spam list. So we had a Wraith Knight. Wraith Knights are very, very good against Imperial Knights because they're a gargantuan monster creature that's feel no pain, and they get to go first, higher initiative, right? So turn 1, he basically ran up the board and knocked off almost all the hull points off my Acheron with the flamers. I had 1 hull point left. I ended up getting first blood because he didn't kill anything, and then my turn, what I did was, and then I cast invisibility on the guys with the flamers. What I did was I flamed behind them and just knocked off, all but 1 or 2 for the flamer guys. They were all dead. Because all I did was he moved up. He got first turn, right? He moved up his vehicles, and then what's it called? Jumped out of his transports, ran, and then flamed. So we basically crossed the entire table turn 1. And so turn 1, my Acheron was almost dead, and then he ran up his Wraith Knight. So I decided to go after his Wraith Knight with 2 of my Knights, a Castigator and a Lancer. But he got really lucky and blinded my Lancer. Knowing that I might have shot, maybe not shot with my Lancer, but the blinding thing. And I got unlucky, and he blinded my Lancer, and then my Castigator and my Lancer made into close combat. I also tried to throw in a 3rd Knight, and he failed. And his Knight, because of this crazy reroll to hit rule that he had as well going, it was very powerful, as I said, very powerful. He put 2 attacks each on my Castigator and my Lancer, right? Both of them hit, despite the fact he was hitting on like 4s and 5s or something like that. He hit with all of them. And then he rolled a 6 on my Lancer, instantly killing it and blowing it up before it could really do anything. And then it attacked back, and then my Castigator somehow survived and ended up killing his Wraith Knight. So after 1 turn, he lost his Wraith Knight. I lost my Castigator. No, sorry, my Acheron was dead, pretty much. My Castigator had 1 hull point left. And my Lancer was dead. And then after the top 2, so at the end of his turn 2, all I had left on the table was about half a Scout squad, my Devastator squad with Librarian, and my Knight Errant. Everything else was dead. And his list was almost full, minus his I killed some of his Flamer guys, and I killed his Wraith Knight. So he was just destroying me, and there were 3 objectives in the game. Of course, we're playing just normal, game, not Mails from War. So, yeah, I was like, okay, we're having fun. Like, I'm gonna have a good time regardless. But in my head, I'm like, we're done. I'm done. There's no way I'm gonna win this. But I kept going. I don't quit, right? I don't quit, and I keep playing. And slowly but surely, what I was doing was, and I realized this kind of in turn 3, was that the previous 2 turns, I was just swapping units with him. Every time he'd kill a Knight, I ended up killing what could kill a Knight. And then by the end of 3, he kind of was out of units that could kill Knights. And what I was doing was, because the great thing about the 1 Knight I had was he had 2 guns. A Heavy Stubber, the giant Melt-A-Gun of Doom, and so what I do is I'd melt a one thing, kill it, and then I'd Heavy Stubber something, and then assault the Heavy Stubbered unit. And I got very lucky with my stomps as well. Like, at one point, I assaulted some guys, and there was a Wraith Lord just outside of he wasn't in combat with me. He was just outside of combat. So I stomped. I got 3 stomps. First stomp, place my template, roll a 6. Everything's dead, right? And then that freed up. Well, not everything was dead. I mean, the unit I target was like the 3 guys that were under the template dead. And of course, they were the scariest things that were in the squad that was facing me. So then I put the next template over another guy in the squad and the Wraith Lord. And once again, I rolled a 6. And so instantly a Wraith Lord got stomped into the ground who wasn't in combat. And that's what I think is the most broken thing about Stomp. That you can kill things out of combat. And so by turn 3, it actually started looking like he didn't have much left that could face and kill my knight. And so my errant was just walking around the table, just destroying everything. And it was a very good game, but in the end, we played till turn 6, and at the end of 6, I had him tabled to one model. There was one model left on the table in a corner, and I still had one scout left, grabbing an objective, my Devastator squad on another objective, and my errant grabbing an objective. And I won. So the final score was, I think, 9-7. The reason why I got 7 points was because of the points he got by removing hull points off my guys and Slay the Warlord. So it was a great tournament. So in the end, I finished with 2 ties and a win, and I came in 4th. I tied for 4th with my buddy Stu. I believe he also came in 4th. So that was really cool. And I don't mind. Like, in the end, I didn't get a prize or anything, but it was a lot of fun. And we did know that obviously if those rules weren't in place for if the rules weren't in place for the knights, the win through attrition, we would have just won. Like, it wouldn't have been close. Stu and I would have destroyed, because all my ties would have been wins, because like the first game, my opponent got like 6 or 7 points. They're just knocking wounds off my knights, and that just wouldn't have happened if that rule wasn't there. So I'm done with the shading, and we're at 20 minutes. Perfect. So now I'll work on the skin for these guys, and after that, I don't know. Probably greens. So I'm going to take some Bestigor flesh and add another flesh tone before I do a shade for the skin, as I normally do for my skins. So great time, great event, no complaints at all. I had a great game against Brandon, which ended up being a draw, an awesome game against Bill, which ended up being a draw, and a crazy game against Matt, which ended up being a win. But I was really happy with who I played against, and it was good. It's a good time. If any of you are out there watching, Brandon, Matt, or Bill / William, I had a great time playing against you. And that was my weekend. It was a good time. Pretty much the rest, working. Just working. You know, yeah, did a lot of work. But, yeah, it was a good week, you know. Yeah. I'm hoping that by the way, I didn't end up purchasing the Betrayal of Kelth box set, because I just don't have the money right now. So I'll buy it in the future, probably one day maybe, or something, if it's still available. I don't have the money, so it's okay. It wasn't meant to be right now. Plus, the big choice is when you get the game, do you paint the miniatures for the game, or paint them all as one army, and then start your 30k army? The only downside to 30k is, unless they're going to obviously fix this, is all the models are Forge World other than the starter set. So, but it's an interesting looking game. I really like the idea of it. I know it's a lot of Space Marines facing Space Marines, obviously, but it looks good. I think it looks like a good game. So I'm definitely thinking about it in the future. It's probably the next game I'll jump into. Yeah. So yeah, a great weekend, you know. What else is new and exciting? Not a whole lot. I'm just painting, and it's been a good time. As I said, I'm done with my Dark Angels, and I was able to get about 4,000 points done, or 4,000 points of total for Dark Angels, and that's good. And I'm organizing it for what I want to do for next year. I'm going to work on these guys, these Retribution of Syra guys. Not this particular squad, probably. This only lasts me about a week. But they're my friend Andy's, and it's a commission for him, but because he doesn't really have the time to paint them. But I haven't really worked on his guys in a while. And I figured, you know what, since I've had such a great productive year, I'm going to take a break for a month and a half and then bring some painted models to my friend Andy. You know, that way he gets his painted models and he doesn't have time to paint. And then what I've decided to do is next year, for January, I'm probably going to spend a month just doing Necrons and get my Necron army, my completely done. It won't take very long. And that way they'll be done. Where's my Rayclin Flesh Shade? There it is. And then, so now I'm going to take some Rayclin Flesh Shade and shade the flesh, obviously. Yeah, it's dry. I like thinning down my paints, obviously, as always, so they don't go into clumpy. And the best thing about thinned paints is that they dry faster, typically. So it's nice to have a paint that you don't have to wait for a long time. It's not too humid here. It's really windy today, but the weather's beautiful. I can't complain. So I'm going to do Necrons for a bit, and then I'll figure it out again. Maybe more Tyranids. Of course, I spent a lot of this year doing Tyranids. But I have still some Tyranid models left. I'm almost done with Dark Angels and Imperial Fist. They're pretty much done. Grey Knights I have a little bit. Maybe I'll spend a month doing Grey Knights. Orcs I have a little bit left. I have a Battle Wagon and some other things, but not that many things left. Orcs are always one of the armies I've been working hard on painting. And I did spend October last year doing Orcs, so... You probably hear the wind in the background. It's been very warm here this time of year. Like, it feels like it's spring/early summer right now. I was outside earlier in a t-shirt, and I didn't feel cold for like 10 minutes. So, it's been nice. I don't really care if snow doesn't come for a few days, or for a few weeks, or for a few months. I'm Canadian, so I'm used to it, of course, but I just don't feel the urgency for snow. I can keep riding my motorcycle, have a good time. You know? Yeah. There we go. For my friend Andy, he doesn't like his elves having very light colors, skin tones, so I just tend to do it in my normal flesh tones. I'll be right back. I just gotta let Rubik out. He's there you go. So yeah, great time. What else happened? Oh yeah. So another thing that happened this week, I pre-registered for Adepticon because I was a volunteer last year. They gave us access to the registrations a week early. And so I signed up for a couple things this year. I decided I'm going to actually have fun and bring some stuff this year and go to a couple events, do some things. I'm going to do a painting. I'm not doing this, I'm not hosting a seminar. I'm going to go to a seminar, a painting seminar. So I need my wall flash now to do the green tones. Where's my wall flash? Striker green, wall flash. So that'll be good. I'm gonna go to a chibi painting seminar by a really awesome painter named Mark. And he contacted me after last year's Adepticon and said, "Hey, you really should take my class." So I'm going to take his class called Chibi-tastic. I might actually take another one. I'm seeing if I want to take another one with hosted by Elizabeth. That she's doing another one, but I might do that too. I'll see. So I'm going to go to a painting seminar. I'm going to. I had so much fun playing my knights. There's a night event at Adepticon where it's just knights versus knights, and I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to bring 3 knights and up to 3. You can bring up to 3 knights. So I'll probably bring maybe the 3 Forge World ones, but I'm thinking I might, if it's knight versus knight, it's probably best to bring like the Lancer, the Acheron, and an Errant, because the Errant is pretty good against other knights. Castigator, not so much. He's more of the anti-infantry knight, so we'll see. But it'll be fun. You bring knights versus knights. And your knights are supposed to just, do certain things. It'll be fun. I think that will be a lot of fun. And what else did I sign up for? Just Iron Arena for Warm Hordes. So I can play it in my free time. Nothing too pressureful. So I might sign up for more things, but we'll see. But it was really cool. And of course, I went VIG again. Because VIG was awesome. They raised the price of VIG. Understandably, last year was $80, but we felt we were getting like a deal with the amount of things that we got in the full swag bag. So, and the ability to get into the shops an hour early was huge. There were no lineups. No lineups at all. I think that's good. Cool. I'll paint their boots a different color. These guys aren't going to be too complicated of a color scheme. There'll be like 4 or 5 colors total. Except for the flesh guys. Yeah. So, I'm excited. I already signed up for Adepticon. People are asking about LVO. I don't know about LVO this year. Next year, I don't know. If I can make it, awesome. The only problem is, it was like last year, my wife and I were already going to be in Vegas. And we stayed later for LVO. I wanted to go to LVO, obviously, but it was a really cool timing thing. And this year, I don't know, we'll see. Depends on timing and stuff. But I'm definitely not against it. Maybe next year I'll go to Nova. I got to figure out what I want to do next year. Of course, I've got to get some debts paid off as well, my student loans and stuff, so I can't spend that much money. But, my dream, honestly, like my dream year would be like LVO, Adepticon, Gen Con, and my dream would be to go to England. Because it'd be so cool to go there and meet people, have a good time, see things. Obviously it's kind of the mecca of 40K. Yeah. So that'd be really cool. But we'll see. Somebody suggested the other day, it was kind of funny, that I should do like a GoFundMe or something to send me to England. And I'm like, nah, I don't know if that's the most worthy cause. Jay goes to England. Sponsor. But one day for sure. I know Matt and Dave had such a good time, so. $33 minutes in. I can't believe that. We're already, I'm doing pretty well for 33 minutes in. I'll get the greens done probably, and then after that I'll shade them. And then continue to work at that point. The flesh tones should be dry on the guys with skin. Yeah, and he's going to really like these guys. As I said, unfortunately, he's kind of a typical War Machine player. Doesn't have an army painted. Doesn't have time. I understand that, right? Not everyone has time to paint. But, yeah. He's going to like these guys. It's kind of cool. Eventually, he's going to have more... Actually, probably not even eventually. Pretty soon, he's going to have more models and painted points of his War Machine army that I've painted for him than I have for mine. That'll be kind of fun. Yeah. That'd be weird. Oh well. That'd be cool. So when we do our battle reports, he's pretty much the only guy I play War Machine against. So I know I'm going to be facing these models in the near future. So I'm basically painting models that he will use to destroy me in a battle report. But that's okay. Retribution. You're an interesting army. And I'm just hoping that by the time I see him again, I'll have a bunch of guys for him, so that way he can take them home and play against his other friends. He plays against some other people in his meta, so he'll be able to go home and then be able to play these guys. Plus, it then gets the models away from my workshop, you know, and it's going to be more empty. As I said in one of my videos, either last week's video or the week before, my prediction is that if I keep going the way that I'm going, with the amount of models I typically paint in a week, without burning out or anything, let's see, I actually might be out of models. I will have my entire collection painted mid next year. Then what? I don't know. I'll play by ear. Done. Done all the guys with helmets. They're all green. Let's do the non-helmet guys. As I said, I have no idea what these guys are called. I think they're called Dawn Guard. Dawn Guard something. There's different types of guard. And these are Dawn Guard something. You know, they're not Sentinels. Because there's a box of what are called Dawn Guard Sentinels near me, and they're not the same guys. Yeah, it's a windy day out. But it's not raining or snowing, so I'm not complaining. Done. You know, I'll do these little tassels green as well. Yeah. If you've been keeping up with my Facebook page, you'll probably know that I've stopped accepting commissions, new commissions, for a while. And that's true. It's actually because of this commission that I'm currently doing for my friend Andy, and just the time right now. I'm always the type of person, I don't like taking on things that I can't do. I hate it. So before I ever take on something new, I always make sure I have the time. And when I took on this giant commission, Andy just said, when it gets done, it gets done. So it's over the, the long term. He doesn't have a definite plan. Obviously, though, I'd love to get him the models painted to him ASAP, as soon as possible. But there's no real time plan. But ever since my goal was to quit my other job eventually. And that will probably not happen for a while. And I've accepted that now. And I faced it, and I'm okay. You know what? I'm going to keep working my butt off my videos. Obviously, if you want to go check out the Warp, the Warp and my Patreon page are the two ways that I'll be able to quit my other job and make videos for a living. But so if you want to go check those out, please go ahead and do it, because it would really support me. I'm okay with that. As I said, I'm gonna deal with it. It's not the end of the world that I have to work at my other job for probably another year or two. We'll see. Or at least until I find something better. Yeah, I don't know. But what was I saying? Yeah, I was originally wanting to quit my job by now, and instead I've had to increase my hours just to keep the money going, and because life got really expensive in the summertime. That's what I'm saying. I can't, do everything or buy everything. I just don't have the money, but that's okay. And so when I had to increase my hours, I definitely decided that, you know what, I can't take on new commissions, because I have this commission for Andy that I want to really get done in the near future, and that these Painting with Jays will actually be a huge catalyst, because now that I can set the time, my commission time to just my Painting with Jays, and then like this 1 hour, I'm going to get this squad probably halfway painted by the end of it. It's only going to have, as I said, 4 or 5 colors. It's not a very complex model, so it won't have a very complex color scheme. But it'll be nice. Like I paint Andy's models nicely. But so through these Painting with Jays over the next 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, I'm planning on getting these models almost entirely done, and then that will get the commission done. Then maybe after that I'll consider doing commissions again, but I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I love commissions. Like it's a great time. I'm not burnt out or mad or anything like that. I've had great customers and great times painting them, and I think I've made some people smile. But I just don't have the time. If I don't have the time, I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it, because it'd be unfair to my clients and to me. So one day again, maybe I'll do them. But until then, I'm just gonna have fun painting my own guys. Plus, they look cool. Oh, this guy's a little. I'll paint his little cloth green as well. I think Andy's gonna really like these guys, and I can't wait to transform the other dudes, because they look so crappy right now. His other guys, they're in a variety of states of finishings, primers, and not based. And when they're done, they're gonna look awesome. They're really cool models. So. I think Andy's gonna be happy. Yeah, I'm excited for Adepticon. I know I shouldn't talk, I'm talking about spending just after I say I don't have much money, but it's okay. I set aside a little bit for Adepticon, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time again. I'm gonna go meet some people, have a lot of fun. It's at the Renaissance Schaumburg again. It was a great time last year. My favorite part about it was the 2 years ago was we were in a motel a little bit ways down walk. And it was really not as fun. Like being in the hotel convention center thing is so much more fun than not being in the convention center thing, because you're there. You can walk upstairs. Like if you're tired, you can go upstairs and have a nap for 20 minutes. Or if you bought too many things, you can go upstairs and put it away. You don't have to constantly move around and walk around with carrying stuff, and it's really nice to be there. And so I second that the hotel block went up. I, of course, jumped on it again. And I'm guessing Owen and I will probably share it again, or we'll figure it out. But yeah. And then I've registered, so I've gone gung-ho, and I'm happy. And I'm excited for all my nights. Just going to bring a few knights. And have a really fun time. I'm definitely going to vlog again. My J-Cam. Yeah. Done. So now that's done, I'll do some shading on the greens. And, oh, we're only at 45 minutes. I love it. And then I'll work on the skin tones again of the guys that I have that have no helmets. So now I'm going to take some Athonian Camo Shade and shade the green areas. So after this episode, I'll already have these colors, 2 colors, and then next will be the black areas, and then silvers and golds, and then they'll be done. It's not a very complex color scheme for these guys. That's okay. You don't have to have a complex color scheme, you know? Started doing my Christmas shopping. This year, I think I really want to get it out of the way. So, I've already gotten my father's gift, my in-laws gift, which is cool. My in-laws gift. If you're Canadian, you've heard of CBC. There's a CBC radio show called The Vinyl Cafe with Stuart something, I forgot his last name. And he tells some really good stories. And it's a fun time. You know, it's just a fun. You go and listen to the CBC talking things, and it's a lot of fun. And every year, my in-laws have always wanted to go to. My father-in-law especially really loves it, and so does my mother-in-law. And so every year, I've always said to my wife, like, "Hey, we really should take your parents to the CBC. They don't come to London. My in-laws are in London, and we're in Peterborough, but they don't come to either of those places. They come to several places in between." So then every year we go, "Oh yeah, let's do that." And then we look and the tickets are sold out and we're like, "Ah, crap." This year, again, I had that moment where I'm like, "Hey, we really should take your parents." And then we're like, "Yeah, let's check the tickets." And this time it was early November. And we looked and there were like 2 sets of 4 tickets available. So perfect timing. So we got the tickets. They're not the best seats in the house, but they're going to be a lot of fun. So we're taking my in-laws as their Christmas gift to a show, the CBC show, called the Vinyl Cafe, and it'll be a lot of fun. It's very popular, and the tickets usually go very quickly. So I'm excited for that. It'll be a good show, and on top of that, it's a gift, and we get to spend time with them, which is another thing because we don't get to see them very often, and they like to do those kind of gifts that it's something together. And that's it. It hits every note. It's something together, and it's a nice gift that they've always wanted to do. And we're doing it together, so it'll be a lot of fun. And it knocks off one of the gifts. So my in-laws done, checked off. My father done. I'm thinking of actually buying a squatty potty because for my siblings we do a random gift exchange, and this year it's gag gifts. So I'm gonna get a squatty potty. Those who don't know what it is, great commercial. The Squatty Potty. It's the only commercial I've ever seen that has unicorns pooping. So go check that out. It's a great video. Unicorns pooping ice cream. And I'm not kidding at all. Jay's telling the truth. Another fun thing that happened at Brawl in the Hall was that obviously I knew some people there, and one of my friends, Mike Grove, was there. And his friend, I'd say he's kind of my friend now. I'm going to say him. He's my new friend, Brent. Brent actually was in a battle report that came out earlier today. You probably saw it. Or yesterday, depending on when you're watching this video. This week's battle report had Brent in it. The guy I kept saying, like, Jar Jar Binks is Brent. He's a good guy, too. I'm calling him my friend. Brent, you're my friend now. So Brent and Mike were both there. So it became the fun game of let's just steal as many models as we can from each other's tables without the other person realizing. It was a lot of fun. I think I won, but I moved a lot of models. So I'm just going to turn to Bestigor Flesh on the skin tones, and then after that we're probably going to call it a day because we're at 50 minutes. Well, maybe not. We'll see. I probably get all the skin tones done on these guys, and then I'll call it a day. But we got work done. These guys will definitely be done before next week, which is cool. And yeah, it'll be good. And then next week I'll work on some of the Archer guys that Andy really wants me to work on. I know my friend gave me an order, approximate order of what he wanted painted, but I really want to start these guys because I was looking forward to painting them, and they were kind of the most progressive out of all of them. Like, they were the ones that required the least amount of work because Andy didn't prime them. And everyone he did prime, I've been having to strip, wash, and reprime so that they're, properly cleaned. So the next group, the Archer group, will be a little bit of work because I need to pre-strip a couple guys, then rewash them, and so it'll be a bit of work. But that'll be my job probably next week. I'll start on them. And if I can get, as I said, if I can get these, there's 4 squads in front of me, I think, right now. Wait, you can't see it right now, but let's see. If I zoomed out a little bit, as you can see, so these are the 12 guys I'm working on at the moment, and these are all the guys at the side that need a little TLC. So, my goal is to get all 4 done, these squads, over the next 3 to 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. So by the end of the year, because I don't know for sure, but knowing Andy, he'll probably try to contact me and have a couple of battle reports before the end of the year. He likes to do that in his time off for Christmas break after exams. He's in school. And if he does, I would like to have as many models. I'm going to zoom back in. I'd like to have as many models for him so that he can take home. And then, he'll be happy. So when we do battle reports. So that'll be my goal, to have as many models for him by the time he comes back to my house. So far I've painted 1 Warcaster. Now, for those who don't know, War Machine and Hordes, instead of HQs, they have Warcasters or Warlocks, depending on what game. Warlocks for Hordes, Warcasters for War Machine. And I painted one of his Warcasters, a really cool guy named Thyron. So, I have a new Warcaster and a bunch of squads. The funniest thing I think about War Machine is that obviously the game was designed with the jacks in mind. It's called War Machine. It's always a picture of somebody leading a jack. The big thing was supposed to be the War Jacks. But eventually the rules kind of took over, and when it's a very, 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 and I mean very competitive game. And in the game, most casters can't run a lot of jacks. They just don't have the capacity to run them well. So what you find is most lists, most of the points are invested in infantry, like these guys. So the joke is it's also called like Infantry Machine, because it's just, you don't see in a lot of competitive lists many jacks. You'll see like 1 jack or maybe 2 jacks max, and then just hordes and hordes of the infantry. And then there's another game called Hordes, right? The other side of the coin is called Hordes. But the funny part about Hordes is that it's actually better in Hordes to run more War Beasts. So lists for War Machine play like Horde armies, and lists for hordes tend to be more beast focused and smaller and more elite. So it seems really off. You know? Doesn't make much sense. So now I'm going to take some Ungor flesh, mix it in to my best Ungor flesh, do a 1-to-1 mix of best Ungor flesh and Ungor flesh, and then finally just Ungor flesh by itself. And, yeah. So, then the flesh tones will be done, the shading will be done, and the blues, and then the greens will almost be done. Like, this is good. These guys will definitely be all complete and good to go for next week. And then with them done, I can start the next squad. The flesh tones don't take very long, especially when they're only doing faces. And Andy likes his guys to have a little bit of character, so I intentionally don't leave it as smooth as I would with some other guys. So, look at them. They're going to be awesome. He's going to be happy. That's my favorite part about doing commissions, is I don't do it for the money. I love making people happy with their models. When they get their models and they're just super excited to use them on the tabletop or show their friends, or, you know, when the model brings a smile to people's faces, honestly, that makes it worthwhile. And I know that sounds extremely cheesy, but it's true. It's the actual truth. That's why I love doing commissions. You know, I don't consider myself the greatest painter of all time, but I'm an okay painter. And I'm a better painter than some, not as good as others, but I think that people love my work, and I charge a good amount for it, and in the end, people are happy. And that's what matters. So, as I'm going to try to get my Christmas shopping done, probably over the next week or so, or next couple weeks, get it all done. I'm going to go to the toy store later and buy stuff for my nephew. That's always fun. That's always my favorite time, is when I get to go to like Walmart, just look around the toys, and buy stuff. Right now, my nephew's into Lego and superheroes. So I'm like, done, and Ninja Turtles. Awesome. And I love the way the toy companies are intelligent, and they just skip a generation and then like bring it back, whatever they're doing. That's way too strong of a highlight. Oops. That was a little too strong of a highlight. Oops. I'll touch it up later. So that's easy. I can easily, go shopping and buy Ninja Turtles or superhero stuff. I'll let my wife help me buy stuff for my niece. I really don't know what to buy a 12-year-old girl. And I think that's good. I have no idea what a 12-year-old girl would like. I was thinking maybe like a gift card. I know it's not very personal, but then the 12-year-old girl can be like, hey, I can go on a shopping spree, and she can get whatever she wants, Maybe it's not the most personal, but I think it's cool. Like I don't mind giving money at a wedding, because then they get exactly what they want. Usually it's money, right? Because I know sometimes they're like, hey, I really want these toasters or coasters or blender or something, but a lot of time weddings are expensive. They just want money. Cool. Oops, I probably have my hand in my camera. I know you guys don't really watch what I'm doing. You just paint along with me and stuff. But look at that. They're all done. A couple of them I went a little heavy. On the shading. Oops. It happens. Oh, I should have done their hands green. That's what I wanted to remind myself to do. I could do it black, but I think green would be better. The same green that I worked on. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it looks good. Cool. I'll get those done later. So yeah, let's end. I'm gonna call it. We're at about an hour. Yeah, it's all good. I got a good amount of work done. See, now I'll show you guys. Look what they look like now. They're obviously not 3 colors yet, but I got the blues done, the greens done, and the flesh tones done on the guys with flesh tones. So I'll zoom out for a bit, just a second. And look at them. Obviously, it's not completely done, but they're on their way, and they'll be well on their way and finished probably before next week. I'm gonna do some silvers, some golds, and some blacks. So there's 5 colors on them, plenty of time. Then these guys will do their hair and goggles and stuff, some different colors, and Andy will be happy, and all will be good. So let's end. So that concludes another episode of Painting with Jay. I hope you got stuff done too and painted along and got a lot of, I hope you've seen as much progress this year as I have. That's what I'm saying. Because I know a lot of people just like to put on this, listen to the background, paint along, and get work done. And that's what the spirit of Painting with Jay is all about. And that's why I keep doing it. I love to paint, and I hope you love painting too. And yeah. So please go check out the Warp, as I said. Go check out the Warp and go check out my Patreon page, please. It's through these 2 things that I will be keeping it going. And it's going to be through these things that I can eventually accomplish my goal of making videos full time. But thank you very much, as always, for painting along with me. You people are my confidants, and I really appreciate you painting along with me. Until next time, this is Jay saying happy painting with me.